Kids Place Live. We were just telling the story of a family in West Hartford, Connecticut, who accidentally grew a rose taller than their home. It is now a contender for being the Guinness World Record holder for world's largest or tallest rose. So I'm wondering, and this is not something that they set out to do. They were just amateur gardeners. They just had a rose bush, and just one just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going, and it is still going right now. So I have to ask, have you ever planted something, or maybe accidentally planted something, and had a surprise when that thing grew and grew and grew, even if maybe you weren't someone with a green thumb? Let's go to Callie, Naya, or is it Niall, and is it Zeta and Niall and Keen's mom?
Yes.
Hi. Hi, Callie.
It is. Hi. It's been a long time. Hi.
I know. Good to hear from you. So, do you have Adventures in Gardening, a Life Finds a Way story for us?
Yeah. It was, I was telling Tori that I often buy way too many Yukon Gold potatoes, and they always end up growing eyes in the pantry, and then, you don't want to cook them. And so somehow I remembered, that you could grow them from the actual potato. I don't know. I didn't know all of the story. And so I cut them in half, and I put them, we had a flower bed, garden, whatever, that was another funny story about why we stopped planting stuff in that one. But we had it back there, and I was like, I'm just gonna plant them in this bed, just cover them up. And I actually forgot about them. And all of a sudden, I was in the backyard, and I noticed that there were, things growing above ground. And most of the time, that would be weeds. But it didn't look like weeds. And so I went over, and I just started digging. And I took Keen with me, and I just started digging. And it was one little potato and another little potato. And I'd only put, maybe 2 potatoes, 4 halves in there. And I got, 15 potatoes.
What?
And one of the cool things about, digging for potatoes, because I had done it at a farm before, and you use, a rake, and then you kind of feel in underneath there, and all of a sudden the potato pops up. But, it's like discovering, treasure, because you're not pulling it up. You're not, pulling, a carrot from the stem, and you're I'm going to hold this stem and pull this carrot up. You are just digging and digging for something, and then all of a sudden you feel something, and then you lift it up, and it's a potato. And so we had that moment over and over and over again. I think I made, a little Instagram story, my first Instagram story about it, because I was super excited.
This is amazing! If you've got pictures, you've got to share them with us. That is so
absolutely.
fun.
I've got a whole video. I even put it to the sowing the seeds of love. I was bringing back my 80s, my 80s memories of Tears for Fears.
So
it was fun.
So instead of throwing away the potatoes that were going bad, you cut them in half, you planted them in your garden, and then how many months later did you find all these potatoes?
I have no idea. I really have no idea.
You forgot about them long enough to forget.
I tried to do it again, and it did not work at all.
Okay.
I don't even know what the formula is. So I would look it up and see. I feel like it was the perfect time of year, the perfect amount of time to forget about it, the perfect time for me to notice it, because I think you can go too far, and then you can't eat the potatoes. They turn purple or something in a bad way, because there are purple potatoes, but not these kinds. So
did you eat the potatoes that you accidentally grew?
Absolutely, and they're the best potatoes.
Really?
Yeah, they're more buttery, and they have so much more flavor to them. Yeah. No,
but you haven't been able to recreate this.
Not at all, and failed miserably, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and now the garden's gone. So.
Aw. All right.
So.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Enjoy and remember and tell stories about.
So fun. Callie, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and say hi to Zeta, Niall, and Keen for us.
Will do.
Bye-bye. All right, Tori, you were also talking to Sabrina in Maine. Sabrina had a Life Finds a Way Adventures in Gardening story. What was the story?
Yeah, Sabrina and her family decided to start composting. And boy, did it pay off for them, because they grew pumpkins and zucchinis. However, when Sabrina told me this story, I thought she said Houdinis. And now I will forever call zucchinis Houdinis.
Why aren't we calling zucchinis Houdinis?
Right?
Yeah, especially when they magically appear in your garden. I was so excited and inspired last year. We had friends that the previous Halloween took all of their old jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins from their porch, and they just threw them in their garden. Like, yeah, just throw them over there. Let them. And then this year they had a whole pumpkin patch. They had more pumpkins than they knew what to do with this year.
Whoa!
So I did the same thing, and I am really hoping that by next October, although I'm pretty sure Teddy, my dog, and some of the neighborhood foxes have been eating those pumpkins I threw out there. But I'm hoping some of the seeds made their way into the ground, and then I wake up next October with a bunch of fully formed pumpkins in my garden. But I was also reminded that Rhett, one year, somebody gave him some cucumber seeds, and he planted them in this little garden box in our backyard, and we had like a monster cucumber not bush, but yeah, like vine, like cucumbers growing on vines. More cucumbers than we knew what to do with. They were out of control.
So maybe the lesson that we've learned here today is that the less effort you put into planting the plant, the more successfully it's going to grow.
Sometimes it works that way. So I would love to hear, we'll do one more round of this. If you are a kid or a grown-up and you've ever planted something either on purpose or by accident, and life found a way and that thing grew and grew, you've got an adventures in gardening story for us, call us up and tell us all about it. I know it's not really gardening season this time of year, but this is a great time of year to get those little things started. You can get them started in a windowsill, planting things in little cups. It might not be outdoor gardening time in lots of parts of the country, but it's a good time to get things ready for the spring. So 1-866-328-2345. If you've got an adventures in gardening story, life finds a way, call us now. Here we go.